Welcome to the first ever Inside Mustang Athletics. I'm Harrison Chisholm. I'm the athletic director at Fort Morgan High School. Today, we are joined by Coach Kyle Graulus, the head coach of the Mustang wrestling team. Coach, thanks for coming on.
Morning, Chisholm.
How about we start with a little bit of a recap of the regular season?
We did pretty well on the year. I think we only lost two duels. We lost to Windsor and we lost to Sydney, Nebraska. But we were pretty dominant as a dual team. So that was a great thing to see throughout the season. And we won one tournament as a team, and that was the Niwot tournament. Finished pretty high in a couple other tournaments. So we did pretty well, I thought, as a team for the whole regular season.
That's good. And then we went to regionals, went to Holy Family High School. How was that?
We did all right. I mean, we were thinking we were going to qualify a few more on the state and stuff like that with our region, but when you got three of the top 10 teams in your region, it's pretty tough to do. We ended up taking fourth. I think we had, I'm thinking we had 9 placers out of the 14 we took, and we had 6 go on to state. So all in all, regionals was a pretty good turnout for the Mustangs. We finished in fourth, and um, then we carried on to state. So I thought it was.
Who were the top three? Who are the top three teams in that region?
The number 1 team was Jefferson. Number 2, Weld Central, and number 3 was Bennett, I believe. So
Yeah,
those 3 teams were pretty tough.
it's pretty good programs right there. So we got to go on down to the Pepsi Center, which is always a great place to go. Great way to end the season, and talk a little bit about that tournament.
Yeah, we took 6 guys down there. I mean, they put on a good show down there. Chassa does. Um, we had 6 of our 14 varsity guys, and at 113s we had Justin Wagner, and he ended up. I think he went 0-2. He had a tough year, but there's always next year for him. Then we had Brendan Jones. He was 132s. He also went 0-2, which is pretty tough as a senior, but um, he was pretty happy with his 4 years with the Mustangs. Matt Pacina, I think he went 1-2. He did a great job. Um, and then we had Cale Langford. Cale ended up doing a really good job out there. Got fourth in the state in 3A. And then the next one was Brian Paxton, and he actually ended up making the finals. And it was a tough match in the finals. He ended up getting second runner up in the state in 3A. So that was pretty awesome. The last one was Josh Contreras, and he was really just 2 points away from placing in the state. So he was top 8 against a kid that had already placed 3 years before. So it's pretty great to see 6 guys for the Mustangs. I mean, that's a great group of kids to go to state with and have a lot of fun. Kind of a closeout deal for the year, and it's not like another tournament you'll ever be at. It's kind of like top of the podium, top of the pedestal, and it's a lot of fun. I love being at the Pepsi Center in February.
It's one of the things about it is you get to see with all the mats out there. It's kind of fun to be able to watch all that. You can watch everything from
Yeah, it's
A to 2A, and then you get to hold your breath because you got guys like Paxton, who's the blood time is taken away. So,
yeah.
but
He's a heck of a wrestler. You tape his nose up in the state finals match, and he's wrestling the first 20 seconds into the match, and he's got to wrestle with that wrapped around his nose, and only can breathe out of his mouth and bleeding into the back of his nose, and that's a competitor right there. He was pushing through everything.
not many would want to do that. I don't.
No, I know I wouldn't. That
Yeah,
wouldn't be very enjoyable.
that's tough.
But
So we
one thing I
okay.
forgot was regionals. We did have 2 champions. Josh Contreras ended up winning regionals, and then Matt Pacina also ended up winning regionals, and those were our 2 regional champs on the year. So that was pretty awesome to have 2 of those guys that hadn't been on the podium at regionals at all actually get on there and actually win it for the first time. So yeah, going back to regionals. Sorry about that.
No, that's fine. I I was actually got to be there. That was fun to watch, especially like you said, those two that hadn't had a chance to be up on top of there and to watch them and to have them stand on top number one spot. That was fun for them and their families, I'm sure.
Yes, it was.
So, so we're doing this unfortunately because we don't have our awards banquet. And so I thought it'd be kind of nice if you would be able to talk a little bit about your award winners and your Letterman winners and anything that you want to talk about as far as kind of a banquet.
All right. Yeah. It was kind of a bummer this year, towards the end of the year, and hoping for a banquet, and this whole coronavirus deal kind of got in the way. But we're hoping maybe this summer we'll have another awards kind of get together, just kind of close the year off when we can meet. So, but I can talk about it right now. Our first year letter winners were Ronell Keeley, Colin Duckworth, Jake Hawes, Jason Hernandez, Zach Horton, Garrett Klaus, David Keller, Jesse McMinn, Santos Solmeron, uh, Emmanuel Serrano, and Justin Wagner. So those were our first year letter winners, and they did an awesome job. They're a lot of young kids, a lot of freshmen. Will be good in 2 to 3 years, and be supporting the Mustang tradition, and it'll be awesome. I mean, they worked their tails off this year and made it through the season, and I couldn't be happier as a coach to have those young guys pushing through and doing a great job.
Hey, before you go, talk about tradition. I see you do a really cool thing, and if you don't want to talk about it, you don't have to. But what about the Mustang, the horseshoe? What does that symbolize? And if that's something that's inside the wrestling room and we don't need to talk about it, that's fine too.
No, that's kind of something I thought of one day, and it's kind of a motivational deal, and I think it works pretty good. I kind of forget to put a trash can by the mat every time we go in for a duel for it to really make sense for the kids. But uh, the horseshoe's kind of a deal where we've always been associated with horseshoes, and um, the Mustangs have, and I get it. I do get it at times, but at other times I also look at it. The Mustangs are wild, and I mean a horseshoe is basically saying that you're a tame animal. You're supposed to do what people tell you to do, and that horseshoe's kind of there. They can write all their doubts, everything going through their minds before they walk on the mat, and the point was to have them write it on them horseshoes, and when they walk up to the mat, they either give it to me, another coach, or throw it in the trash can and say, you know what, I'm done with it. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to dominate. Nobody's going to tell me where I finish. It's kind of based on like looking at rankings. That's another thing. I tell them all the time. I think a few guys had rankings on their horseshoes, and they look at that, and that's just someone telling them where they're supposed to be. And with that horseshoe, it's just basically we're wild animals. We're not supposed to be tame. We're not supposed to be told what to do. We're supposed to go out there and dominate somebody and stand on top no matter who we got in front of us. So that's kind of the motivation behind the horseshoes.
Kind of be free, right?
Yep.
Just be free.
Yep. Be free. Yep.
Be a kid and don't worry about anything else but out on the mat. That's awesome.
Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll let you continue. Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's good. That's a great point. I always forget to bring that up. A lot of people look at us like, why do they got a horseshoe? The
Yeah,
security guards at the Pepsi Center are the biggest ones. They're always like, why do you have this big metal object? I'm like, well, it's kind of a team deal, motivational deal. So
that's
yeah,
cool.
it's fun. Kids have fun with it, and hopefully we can continue that year in and year out. I know a lot of guys have them since their freshman year. When I first started, this senior class have carried them all 4 years and have added to them, and it's pretty awesome to see a tradition like that. So yeah, those letter winners, they got their horseshoes this year, and now they got a little hardware to put on their letter jacket too. Then we got our Tri Valley honorable mention all conference was the first one was Case Givens. Case did a great job for us this year. What he could wrestle, I know he had some injuries and missed out on regionals and state due to injury, but he did a great job. Ended up seventh at one of the biggest tournaments in Colorado. So he deserved it. I know the guys at the all conference meeting was asking about him, and they know how good of a wrestler he is, and he's going to go on and continue his wrestling career at Cloud County Community College. So that'll be good for him. Brendan Jones, another senior, he's done a great job for us all these years, and in the Tri Valley, I don't think he lost more than one or two, but there's a kid in his weight that's a 4-time state champ, so it's hard to get there up on that all conference award in our league with a Windsor and a Roosevelt and some of these teams that are just stacked. So him, and then the next one is Leo Luna. Ended up doing really well in the Tri Valley and got honorable mention. Next one's Matt Pacina, great 138 pounder. Won a lot of matches for us in duels. Cale Langford, or not Cale Langford, sorry. Justin Wagner was our last honorable mention. He did a great job at 113s for us in duels, and couldn't be happier for those guys. And then our all conference. So these are the 3 that are voted on strictly by the coaches, the top tier in the conference. I know that we had 27, I think, state placers in our league. So it's pretty hard to get all conference in a league like that with Windsor and Roosevelt and some of these big schools that fill a roster, can win a state title like Windsor, have 11 placers, I think, just from Windsor. The first one was Josh Contreras at 220s. He did a great job in duels. A lot of guys spoke highly of him at the all conference selection meeting. The next one was Cale Langford, ended up 4th on the year in the state. So I think he was one of the higher ranked 138 pounders in our league. So I think he was the highest finisher in our league at 138s. And then Brian Paxton, 182s. He has another kid that just signed. He just signed from Minnesota in his league, and he was a 4-time state champ. So he's up there in par with him, and he did a great job this year, Brian. And he's actually going to go with Case also out to Cloud County Community College and wrestle out there. So it's pretty awesome. And I think the only wrestler we had that had all state was, and it was all state honorable mention, was Brian Paxton. So that's a great honor to get as a runner up. So I'm happy for Brian getting all state on that. And then we had one more award that awards that are from our team, and the team votes on this. I pass out papers and they write down the names they think is best suited for each award throughout the season. And it's anywhere from hardest worker, heart of a champion, most valuable wrestler, most dominant, freshman of the year, most improved. And those are some of the awards they vote on. But the first award that I'm going to talk about is freshman of the year. And this one was voted on by the team. It was a tie between 2 kids, and they had a lot of varsity time and a lot of varsity wins in our Tri Valley League. So they helped us a lot in duels. These 2 actually helped us in one duel against 3-time or 2-time state champs Ray, beating them in a duel this year. They scored us 9 points. It's Zach Horton and Colin Duckworth were our freshmen of the year. So that's a great honor. Hopefully they can continue making strides and pushing their way to the top. And not taking anything away from our freshman class, but we had a lot of great freshmen in that division. So those two were the highest ones, but there's a lot of freshmen nipping at their heels, and it's going to be a good 3 years with that group. The next one we had was most improved. And most improved went to Timmy Paxton and Josh Contreras. Timmy, at the beginning of the year, he was struggling. He was having some mentality stuff with a lot of losses, and he just wanted to win. He just wanted to win. And then I think one of his first wins on the year was against Ray, and that was really the turning point for him. He had probably one of the most exciting matches I'd seen in Fort Morgan history at our gym, and it was pretty cool to see the crowd on their feet screaming, and it was a lot of fun. And then the second one was Josh Contreras. He went from not even placing at regionals last year to actually winning regionals this year, and then actually being 2 points away from a guy that had beat him 10-0 at a tournament 3 weeks before the region or the state tournament. So he improved a lot over the year. He's improved a lot over the last 2 years. So it's a really good award for those two, and I think it fits them just right. The next one is most inspirational, and this one went to Matt Pacina. And Matt, I mean, if you watch Matt, if you ever see him in sports, that kid works his tail off. He wants to be in it. He wants to be competitive, and I love Matt to death. He's a great wrestler, and the team voted on him being most inspirational, and that's it's pretty awesome to have your team vote you most inspirational. He was a regional champ, never placed to regionals before, so it's a great award for Matt. I'm proud of him. The next one was Heart of a Champion, and this one's kind of he may not have been at the top, may not have been a champion on top of the podium at the Pepsi Center, but man, this kid worked his tail off for 4 years straight, never complained, just wanted to be a great wrestler. And I mean, in my eyes, he is a great wrestler, and that's Garrett Fritzler. He's a heck of an athlete and a heck of a young man, and I'm very proud of Garrett Fritzler. That one couldn't have went to anybody better than Garrett Fritzler. He's a heck of a workhorse, and he just keeps chugging along and keeps doing good. He got sixth at regionals, and I couldn't have been prouder of him this year, and he did a great job. The next one is hardest worker, and this one was voted on by us coaches, and we all came together and we had a lot of names that we put in, and the one that really stuck out to us was Garrett Klaus. I mean, he went in there and worked really hard on the season, got better step by step, and this award could have went to anybody. It's a good award, and as much time as we spend in our wrestling room, how hot and how humid it gets in there, every kid's a hard worker, and it's tough, but it's a great award for Garrett Klaus. I'm really proud of him. Look forward to seeing what that freshman class and him do in the future. Our last two awards, one goes to Cale Langford for most dominant. I mean, day in and day out, you put him on the mat, and he's going to go 100%. He's going to try to tech you, pin you, major decision you. He's a very, very dominant wrestler. I know he fell short of where he wanted to be this year, but man, he's going to be looking for blood next year, and I'm excited for Cale. But he was the most dominant wrestler on the team this year. And our last award was most valuable wrestler, and that goes to Brian Paxton. And Brian, he is very valuable to us. He's one of our captains, pushed hard. I mean, you watch him go out there, like we were saying, with his nose wrapped. That puts a lot of thoughts in younger guys' mind, how hard he's pushing, how much he's devoted to actually winning and doing good, being successful. So most dominant or most valuable wrestler was Brian Paxton. So those were our team awards on the year. I think they fit each guy pretty well, and I'm happy with how the year ended, and look forward to next year and having more awards for more different breed of wrestler, different breed of Mustang next year. So it'll be awesome.
Yeah, that was good. That was a good season. You know, it was fun to watch, and thanks for letting me be a little bit of part of that and being able to go
Thank you.
to regionals and state. So, you have anything else, Coach?
Yeah, I'd really like to thank the parents. I mean, the parents had done a heck of a job this year supporting their kid, because we can't be around them all 24/7, 365. So it's kind of the parents that are my assistant coaches, and they help me out a lot with weight cutting, diet, all that stuff, and supporting their kid when they come home a little upset about practice, how hard it was, just pushing kids beyond where they know they can go. And the parents are awesome. I love my Mustang family. The parents make up 95% of that. So it's pretty awesome to see good parent involvement with these young kids. And I couldn't ask for better support from the parents. Another one I'd like to support is our managers this year. Our managers, they did an outstanding job, from cleaning mats, doing stats, helping out everything they could. I list my four, but Tori Contreras was one, Bailey Dahl, Riley Givens, Xavier Paulson. They did a great job for me this year and really helped me out. Took a lot of the workload off of me as the head coach, and it wouldn't run as smooth without those four. So it helped me out a lot. Another one I'd like to thank is Courtney Russell. She did an awesome job with our boys this year, helping them, taping them up, stemming them, cupping them, rehabbing any injury they have, and it's a great thing to have a trainer around like that. So I'm pretty happy we had that this year, and I know the kids were happy that they could go in there and get taken care of, whatever ailed them anyways. So that's awesome. And then one more I'd like to thank is really my assistants. My assistant coaches, they did a great job this year. Helped me. I know their wives probably don't like me as much because I'm always pushing them to be at practice and helping them out, but their wives are actually blessings because they're letting them do that. So I'm very happy that I got Lance Hokenottle, Justin Morris, JJ Persley, Caden Lorenzini also helped out this year, and Chase Reed when he could. So I was pretty happy to have those guys, and very fortunate to have some great wrestling minds around us, and to help these young men. And the one last one I'd really like to thank is the athletes. I mean, if it weren't for them, we wouldn't have what we have and wouldn't be able to be as successful as we do. And that we push them really, really hard. I mean, each person's different, but in my eyes and most of my assistants' eyes, wrestling is one of the hardest sports to do. And they come in with a great attitude. They know practice is going to be tough. They know it's going to be, who knows, a 3-pound practice to a 8-pound practice, and that's crazy. And to have so many kids actually this year, and finish with I think 25, 26. It's pretty awesome to see that all them kids came in with a great attitude, worked their tail off, and just loved the sport, pushed through the adversity, and did a great job. And the seniors this year, I know we have 7 of them. I think we have 7 of them, and I'm going to miss those guys a lot because I started my head coaching career with these guys as freshmen. So it's going to be tough next year with not the familiar faces as I had for 4 years. And I'm just hoping they learned a lot from us. More than anything, I mean, it doesn't matter how they finished. What matters is the experience, and I'm hoping they had a great time in 4 years, and just became great young men out of the deal. And I'm going to miss them a lot. This coronavirus thing kind of stinks. We usually go in the room and wrestle right about now and do some off-season stuff. And right now, not being around them boys, it's kind of like not being around your family. So it's pretty tough. And I know when we do get together and can wrestle again, they're going to be gung ho about doing some off-season stuff. And I'm pretty excited for that. And they're gonna. I think it'll be a great summer. Hopefully, if we get rid of all this stuff. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you for all your time and dedication for the season, and your assistant coaches as well, and your entire program, for all that they did for our community, and being, class acts on and off the mat. Really do appreciate that. And I agree, having Courtney Russell is a huge bonus for Fort Morgan. We're very fortunate to have her. And it's nice to have a community that supports wrestling. You and I have been to several places where there's not a lot of fan support, but if it's home or away, Mustang Nation travels. So we're pretty fortunate to have that. So
yeah, and thanks for doing this for us, and thanks for being there for us as an admin. I mean, it makes it great when you got an admin that supports wrestling and just loves the kids. So thanks a lot.
Absolutely. Yeah. Again, thanks for letting me be a little part of it. It was a fun ride. So, well, thank you, Kyle, and hopefully we get this all taken care of, and we can be back in the wrestling room soon.
Yep. Thank you.